Board of Adjustments meeting will be called to order. It's 5 o'clock. And if the board would introduce themselves, please.
Brian Baker.
Donna Cook.
Kathy Slagle.
David Martin.
Brian Flowers.
And if we will look over the minutes of the meeting, this would be the April 15th meeting. Looking for an approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Our first case this evening is BOA 24.03, a public hearing to consider the request of the owner, Harold Thompson, for a 10-foot front setback variance. Property is located south of Mosley Road, east of Pecan Ridge Boulevard. Its property is approximately 0.44 acres. And the staff member will inform us.
Yes, we actually combined the slides. There's two cases. It's in the slide shows for both, applies to both of them. Everything's the same except for the two different lots. So thank you, Chair, for that. It's Michelle Melton. Okay, glasses help. Okay. Okay, so it is two lots, and the request is for a 10-foot front setback variance for the principal structure. So the applicant is Harold Thompson, and on behalf of Belgrove Estates is requesting a 10-foot front setback variance for the principal structures on lots 26A and 27A in order to build further away from a platted drainage easement in the back, which you'll see. The 10-foot front setback variance on each lot will make building and selling a house on each lot less difficult. Currently, a 40-foot deep house can be built. The variance is as requested to allow for a dwelling to be placed further from the drainage easement or allow for the construction of a deeper house, 50 foot. The subject properties are zone R2, like Chair said, and they're part of the Pecan Ridge subdivision. And that was finalized in July 2002, revised in 2004. And it is recorded on slide 2218C. And the front setback on that slide, when it was created, was 35 feet. And it is 35 feet. So these are the lots, one's on top of another, 26A, 27A. So in July 2019, which wasn't too long ago, the above original lot configuration was replatted, creating two larger lots, which is the ones that we just showed you, from three original lots, 25, 26, and 27. And you can see here where there's a rectangular one in the middle. There used to be anyway. So they combined three to make two larger lots. And in that replat, which was just in 2019, the front setback on the replat is also listed as 35 feet. And the replat request was actually made by the applicant for this case here tonight. And that applicant also signed off on that plat with the 35 front setback. And this is slide 2691F. So that's what it looked like originally before the replat, the three. So that 26 went away. Then you have the 26A and 27A. So there's two different slides, but we'll go 2403 first. We recommend denial of this because it's been platted 35 feet since day one. Even the revision was just recent, which was made, the request was made by the applicant. It was 35 feet, and that person signed off on it as well. So we'll vote on two different slides, but with the public hearing and all that stuff.
Does that make sense? We have two neighboring lots, so we will need to vote on those individually. This is just presenting for efficiency's sake.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a question for you. You said something about a drainage easement. You didn't talk about that on the site plan.
Yeah, it's I think it's in the packet when you see their full site plan. It's on there.
It shows.
I don't. Does it show?
Also just talk about that.
It's on both.
Yeah.
So the rear of the property, opposite the street, there is a drainage easement
In the back.
in the back. And when that was subdivided, that was known, from day one.
Yeah, it was platted that way too.
The three lots were going to be smaller homes.
Right.
Even at three lots. So the combination or reduction in the administrative replat would allow a little bit bigger size, square footage, just not increase the depth.
Right.
So, you know,
Could
when
go
the lots
out.
are created, we realized, you know, I mean, at that point, the drainage was platted, known, it was designed that way. That's not a hardship.
Right.
You know, size, shape, topography of a lot when there's natural drainage and it's a lot from 1900, that's a hardship. We support that. It was designed and platted this way to handle the drainage for the subdivision as it was built. So
And there are 2 letters in the packet too from neighbors, and some of them are here as well because they're right there on the other side.
Thank you. The applicant is invited to make a presentation. State your name and address, please.
Travis Thompson. I'm here to talk on behalf of Harold Thompson. So I'm the one that's wanting the 10-foot setback off the front. As you see on the back, there's the drainage easement. I actually live in the lot next to 26A. I'm looking to buy both of these lots from Harold Thompson. I'm a builder. I'm looking to build my next personal house on 26A. I can make 40 feet work. I can't make 40 feet work because it's in the ditch. If I can just get 10 feet, 5 feet, whatever y'all are willing to give me, I need at least 5 feet to get out of the ditch for the back of the house. So if we can do that, that's what we would like to have, but that depends on y'all. That's our main issue, just the safety of the house. Because when water comes, the back of actually my house is my house is lot 20, let's see if I can find it on the.
No,
on the covers,
what are you doing?
those double maps.
It was on the one y'all sent me earlier today.
It's probably one of those.
I'm next to 26A, and actually the retaining pond of the subdivision is in my backyard. It runs on the back northeast side of my lot, and cuts back through 26A and 27A. And then it turns into just a natural. It doesn't have any drainage or piping after that. And the other day, it was actually almost at the very top. And I think even the letters I saw earlier when I was looking at this report, it actually runs off into her yard. Tim David, I believe. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm no D.R. Horton. I'm a custom home builder. I'm not gonna put anything there that's gonna be tacky or anything. I just sold the highest. I bought a lot from Harold Thompson that had a variance, and I think it's lot 5 in the neighborhood, and it had a 7-foot variance off the back of that lot. And it's more desirable than these lots up here. So that's pretty much my case. Any further questions?
Have you thought about running a pipe across that ditch in the back?
Well, we talked about that, and actually one of the guys in the neighborhood has tried to do that. He's in the upper part, and it goes down on the backside, and he did that. He went through all the hardship, engineering and whatnot, and then I believe the city of Fairhope, the building department, denied him at the end to do that. So I'm not going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on engineering plans, and that ends up as the case. But he's tried that.
Have you run it by the city yet, just to get their feedback?
We talked about it, but when we met with Miss Cindy and Michelle, we talked about it, but would the city could do that, or would that have to be a HOA thing?
Or it would just be a cost on you so that you don't have it running in your back door.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of the challenges in this subdivision, it does not have your typical retention pond with conveyance systems. Those were designed, it was prior to a lot of our current regulations. So the conveyance system was actually an open ditch, and that's why the drainage easement is so wide. I know at least on one of the other lots, there wasn't enough topography change from where it's not really a detention pond where he's talking about, but you do have kind of an area that is the depression
Right.
that retains, and then there's some rock that does slow things down. There's not enough depth to put a culvert in.
Gotcha.
So it's all splayed out instead of being able to put a pipe in without the redesigning the whole system, which could potentially, I can't guarantee that. I think that was some of the questions that came up. You just don't have that opportunity with a mature subdivision, everybody get together and chip in and redesign our whole detention area. This is the way it was platted. This is the way we have to kind of look at it as individuals are coming in. They don't have the opportunity to design the whole system, redesign the whole system.
Travis, how deep is the lot?
110 feet.
How-
But it's, the 26A it starts to curve. So on 26A, I only have 40 feet in depth, which I don't really have that because the back of the house is sitting in the drainage ditch. And then I have a roughly probably 70 feet with the 10-foot setback on the north side. So I think I have around 70 feet, 65, somewhere around that width.
And I'm just got to ask, because sometimes what's physically out there and what the detention is, there's only a 25-foot drainage easement. Setback's 35 feet, so I don't understand in the buildable area how we're missing 20 feet of a bank. I mean, the drainage easement's where it is designed. Now, if they never graded out the rest of the lot, potentially that's something that can be done. I know when something comes in, we're going to look at that 25 feet and say that needs to stay because that's the way that it was originally designed.
That was going to be my question. When I'm seeing a 25-foot easement, you're saying it's going to go past the 35-foot
Yes.
line. They're not kind of not adding up in my brain here.
Yeah.
Does the ditch line go all the way to the property? And is it falling at 25 feet?
Yes.
Or- So
It-
does it also fall into the building over the 35 feet?
Let me
I mean,
see.
I don't see it.
Do y'all have this in front of y'all?
Yeah,
Okay. If you can look at the plat where it has the setbacks in the buildable area, the 25 is, you see the first dotted line to the back of the property line, that's 25 feet. But the ditch, it slopes, so the back of the house is sitting on the edge of the ditch, if that makes sense.
At the 35 feet.
Yes. So it sits directly into the slope of the ditch.
But the drainage easement only takes up 25 feet. Even though the slope may go out to 35 feet, your easement's only out to 25 feet. So you have the right to fill that in to the 25 feet.
Okay. It would really mess them up to do that because it would push all the water to the neighbor's yard as well.
Okay? But I'm just saying, I mean, there's only a 25-foot easement. It's not 35 feet. So based on what you're asking, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I'm looking at it, your setback and within those bounds and everything else, they only can take up 25 feet in that easement for the drainage.
Okay, so what if I fill in the ditch to 25 feet?
To
I
10
mean,
feet.
to
You can only
10.
fill in 10 feet, still leaving the 25-foot drainage easement.
Yeah.
Because that's what's guaranteed, is right
Okay.
there is a 25-foot easement.
Now, what are we looking at? The methods of construction? I mean, if somebody's coming in and doing a vertical wall that you can maximize, but we do want
can do that
stable
too.
banks,
I mean, there are different ways of doing it.
different ways to do it that might infect where the flat area is
Right.
buildable, certainly, but yes. That would all be looked at within a permit request.
But that would be something that you'd want to get on the front end before you go through all this to understand what you're actually doing,
Yes.
before you go spend it on the engineering and everything else.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's why I haven't created a house plan for it yet. It'll be custom built for if y'all decide to give us anything. Lot 5 in the neighborhood, it had a 7-foot variance off the back of it. As I mentioned earlier, I built the house for that one. It's the highest buildable square footage house in the whole neighborhood that has been sold.
But were the circumstances the same as what you have here?
I would say this is worse than the one at Lot 5. It's a flat lot. There was nothing wrong with it. It was a little bit irregular, but we made it work. We were able to put 2,000 square feet on the ground to require the HOA.
Well, and I think that's maybe, in this subdivision, one of the things that we can't control. We do not, as y'all know, we do not govern HOA declarations and covenants. We look at lots when they're subdivided, and that typically dictates, the size of the house. It was known and discussed when this was platted. The records reflect that some houses are going to be bigger than others, and apparently there's been a minimum number put in the covenants. So, I mean, that may be an HOA problem instead of a Board of Adjustment problem. I mean, we have buildings. I've got a building that's in a flood zone. It's on piers. There's different options that you can look at to accommodate things, so.
I don't think you're going to get the HOA to change the minimum square footage when these are the last 2 lots in the neighborhood.
I would say that would be an easier process than asking for a variance where there's not
I need a
one
bigger
warranty.
house. That's the issue too. Mine is 2,000 square feet. The one that they have on here platted with the setbacks, that's actually the layout of my house. That's next to it. It's the layout, and as you see, it goes into the ditch. I just want it off the front. I just want more off the front. And these lots, yeah, it's not gonna hurt the neighborhood because these lots stick out further than any of the other lots in the neighborhood. For the front of the house, you would never notice it really. It's not like I have a house here and then there's gonna be a house right next to me sticking out 10 extra feet or 5 extra feet. As you can see, the road starts to curve back to the west.
East.
Well, and
Yes.
I can tell you, in a subdivision, when we're looking at those things, if this was the case, we're looking at, hey, we're gonna need variances, everything else, then what we'd say is, well, then you don't need lots right here.
Right.
They need to be common area. Now, that didn't happen, so,
Even though you want a 2,000 square foot home, you have to build a home according to how big the lot is without seeking a variance. I mean, that's the mindset you really should be going in with. This is the size of my lot. What size home can I build on that lot that agrees with all the rules and regs? Same thing I would say for the other lot. You have to look at the size of the lot. Yes, you want a 40-foot deep house, but is that going to fit in? Is it practical? You gotta
40
look at
feet
the
is
size
already
of your
tough
lot.
enough for a depth of a house to get built. I need a bigger house. My dad has stage 4 cancer. I'm not bringing this up for y'all, but I need a bigger house to be able to put him in there. So that's where I'm looking. I can't afford a $110,000 lot. I'm trying to get these lots for what me and Mr. Harold Thompson have talked about. I know that has nothing to do with it, just, 2,000, I need 2,400. I don't need 2,000. I need more than that, but you're right. I know what you're saying though, but just presenting that.
Any other questions for the applicant?
What I'm hearing you say, I'm rephrasing, is you'd like a larger buildable area than what's on the lot right now.
Right.
You're not asking for a variance because of the hardship of the ditch. You actually want that extra 10 feet of distance to put your house on to fit this square footage that you're showing.
Well, I can fit it. I can fit the downstairs area. The top is the issue. I mean, the top, I can build up. That's not it. Where I'm coming from is that if I put 40 feet on that house, it's sitting on the edge of the ditch, and that's going to be compromised through, if a hurricane comes through here and water's rushing through there.
You didn't, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, you're not saying, well, if I want to move it 4 by 5 feet, take 5 feet out of the back, you're saying, give me more area so you can get a bigger house.
If you could just move it up and make the setback off the back larger, I'm fine with that. The 10 feet, I'm going to use the 40 feet. I'm trying to get as far as away from that ditch.
So that's not what you said a second ago, just so you know that.
Well, yeah, but I can still build a bigger house if I have the full 40 feet. But I don't have 40 feet technically right now.
But technically you do.
You do.
Technically you do have 40 feet. It is maybe difficult to build on.
Yeah,
You have to
and-
do additional, just like if somebody buys a slope property, that they have to put a retaining wall in or do something because there's topography to work with. If you have the space there, this might be more difficult for you to deal with, is what it sounds.
Yeah, there's a hardship, a difficulty there for sure.
And y'all know we go through this a lot, okay? But just to reiterate, that's a good word, with the state law on hardships, those are not about finances. That's not about building the house. That's not about, I like this footprint, or personal desires, and that has been upheld. And cities have been sued by giving those out multiple times, and that's what we keep.
I don't have a set of plans. I'm waiting for this. It will be a custom built plan to fit if I get anything.
Well,
So,
and
I don't have a set of plans that I'm trying to put on there.
to say it another way, because it may be maybe it's an engineering cost to get that wall in at the setback line, or to design a house with that, that's a cost. That's something that we can't give a variance for because, hey, it's gonna cost me more. I don't wanna spend that money and maybe not be able to, or maybe be able to, it's gonna be more cost prohibitive than I'm willing to go as a potential builder. That's what we have clear guidance on when not to give variances, so.
Thank you, Travis.
All right, thank y'all. Thank you for your time.
At this time, I'm going to open the public hearing. Interested parties are welcome to come up to the microphone, state your name, address, and say anything you want to say.
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Tim Davis. This is my wife, Mary, and we live in the lot just behind that lot. We bought it about a year ago, and we're in the process of remodeling it right now. But there is a drain that goes down very deep. And my understanding is, and y'all can probably help me with this, the water doesn't want to go under the road if there's more water coming through there. That's our concern, that where's the water going to go? And, that's really all I got to say. I don't see where the water would go to, when there's a lot of rain. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
And to kind of give everybody an understanding of the process at this stage, if there's a building, any building permit comes in, once that comes in, The building department has a right to look at drainage and say, okay, we need another level. We need a civil engineer opinion on, is this going to create problems regardless of where the easement is and water? So we don't know those levels of detail right now because there's never been a permit in.
Is there anyone else that would like to make a statement?
Can I talk again?
Go ahead.
But y'all approved the drainage.
Would you come up to the microphone, please?
But the city of Fairhope approved the drainage for that, so it should be able to hold.
Within the 25 feet.
At this time, I'm going to close the public hearing, and board members, any discussion or adopting of motions?
Do you have to do them one at a time, you said?
We do.
Okay, can you put up on the screen how we would need to go through
So,
one at a time?
right now, we're-
I don't want
Oh, it did.
to, I don't want to say the wrong.
We're looking at 24.03 and voting on that one first. And that is the most southernmost lot.
Okay, so there's the first one, case number
24.03.
.03.
I make a motion to deny for staff recommendation.
Is there a second?
A second.
We'll take a roll call vote.
Aye.
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 And now we need a motion for 24.04. And is there any discussion or looking for a motion to adopt?
I make a motion to deny per staff recommendation.
I second.
And we'll take a roll call vote. This is for denial.
Aye.
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 Both of the 24.03, 24.04 have been denied. Thank you all for coming. Is there any old or new business?
We do have 2 cases next month. So in July.
June.
June. Well, so we will see you again next month.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you for coming, both for alternates.
Absolutely. Our supernumeraries
We
are
appreciate that.
here.
Every time.
Thank you.